I mean, I started journaling because I was feeling emotional. Like dedicated journal things that's screaming like this is a diary. እኔ ናችሁ ሰላም ናችሁ ወይ ውዶቼ ፍቅሮቼ ሰላሞቼ። የዛሬ ቪዲዮ የተለየ ነው የሚሆነው። የዛሬ ቪዲዮ በአማርኛ አይደለም። ለምን ብትሉኝ በአማርኛ የማይሆነው ምክንያት አማርኛ እንግዲህ እጥረት አለኝ እኔ ቃል ኪዳን በአማርኛ ነው እያጠረኝ ነው። ዴይ ባይ ዴይ አማርኛ ሉዝ እያረኩኝ ነው። ስለዚህ በዛ ምክንያት ሞር ከዚህ ቪዲዮ እንትን ሞር እንድታገኙ በእንግሊዝኛ ነው የሚሆነው ማለት ነው። እና ለማንኛውም እንግዲህ የዛሬ ቪዲዮ is going to be about journaling. I'm just going to get right into it. So today's video is going to be about journaling. So basically, I mean, I already said it in Amharic, but you know, if you guys wanted to hear it in English as well, the reason why I'm gonna switch to English is because, I mean, I'm probably gonna get back to speaking in Amharic in later videos, but just for this video, it's gonna be in Amharic because I mean, it's gonna be English, because like, I mean, I can speak in Amharic, but the thing is, it takes me forever to say one thing, and I'm not trying to make a 30-minute video here. So there's like just 3 things that I'm gonna talk about in this video because there's gonna be a part 2 of the same video. But for this part 1, we're gonna be talking about like what is journaling. You know, for those who don't know what journaling is, what is it? But I'm pretty sure most people know it. But it's okay if you don't know it, if you've never heard of it, or if you've heard of it but you don't know what it is. You know, it's okay. So we're going to be talking about what is journaling, and then the second part is we're going to be talking about you know, what are the methods of journaling, like what are ways you could journal, and then the third part is we're just going to talk about me, you know, because I'm the most important person here in this video. I was just kidding, but I mean, not really. But anywho, we're going to be talking about like how I got into journaling, and then in the second part we're going to be talking about like what are the pros and cons of journaling, and what is my experience with journaling, like how I did it myself, like how, like, you know, the method, not really what I used, but just like, you know, what I did to journal, what I wrote down. The last part is going to be about like my recommendation, like would I recommend journaling to anybody, and like if I have any final thoughts, that's where I'll be sharing it. But anywho, without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. So basically, for those who don't know journaling, let's talk about journaling. So journaling is basically like, it depends on how you want to do it, honestly, because you can put journaling to anything. So there's people that journal by, you know, writing down their routines. There's people that journal by writing down their thoughts, their emotions, how their day went and stuff. There's people that journal by writing down their goals and stuff, and what they did to reach those goals. And so there's like plenty of ways you could journal, plenty of, you know, things you could write down, but it really depends on you. But personally, what I did was, obviously I have my own goals and stuff, but I really kind of separate like journaling, because I always see journaling for me, it's always about writing down like whatever is in my head. You know, some things that I can't share with people, I could write it down. I could, you know, release it, you know, take it out of my head and see on paper. And then sometimes it actually helps to actually, like if it's a problem I'm dealing with, I could, you know, see on paper, and then when I see on paper, it's like I can, you know, solve it better, or it takes me less time to solve it than if it's in my head, because there's other things in my head too. And so I'd like to separate it. Like for me, instead of writing down my goals is like separate from writing down my emotions. So writing down my emotions, I call it journaling. Writing down my goals is just planning anything routine that I do, and half the time it doesn't work, but you know, I still do it. It's okay. We don't give up. And so, all right. So, basically, yeah. So there's that. I'm gonna correct my posture here because I really have, I have a posture problem. So I'm gonna try to sit up straight for this video. So basically, yeah, that is like what journaling is about. It's really not, you know, too hard to understand, but it also depends on people, like what you really want to do and how you want to see journaling for yourself. So the second thing that we're going to talk about today is like what are the methods. And so the old traditional way is just writing it down on paper, pen, and you know, it's not too hard. And then you could also like have it yourself, like record like I'm doing right now, talk about whatever you want to, you know, talk about in your journal. Other thing is you could do it online, and that is what I actually do now. I do online because writing on paper for me is a different story, and all of them work as long as they're doing the job that you want them to do. And so those are like the methods. And the last thing that I'm going to be talking about is how I started journaling. So I started journaling probably like in middle school. I think that's when I first started journaling. And I just, started writing down my thoughts on paper. And obviously, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. And I also kind of was fearful because I was like, these are like my inner thoughts and I don't want anybody to read them. And so I would try like hide my notebook and stuff like that, like in places that I would think people won't look and stuff. And I would actually like write down, like I would have my journal be like one of those notebooks that we use for school. It's not like one of those like dedicated journal things that's screaming like this is a diary, this is a journal. I just put it in some like unlikely, and it's like in the middle of the page. It's not even like we start on the first page, it's in the middle of the page. And that's how much I was insecure about it. I started doing that when I first started, and then so basically this is how it would go. So I would write down my thoughts and stuff, and then probably 5 minutes later I would shred it because like I was that insecure. Even though I write it down in the middle of the notebook, I still like just rip it out, shred it, never to be seen again. And I mean, it worked for me that time because I was trying to get some thoughts into something. I wanted to write it down, I wanted to get it out of my head. I didn't want to tell people about it. So I did that when I first started middle school. And then in high school is when I actually got into a habit of writing it down still in the middle of the notebook, but just keeping it there. I didn't like go ahead and try to burn it or try to shred it. I did not try burning it, by the way, because I'm not trying to burn down my house, but I did not try to shred it this time. So I just kept it there. I wrote down my thoughts and stuff. So stop. Anywho, I wrote it down and then I just kept it there. And so that's when I started kind of, warming up to journaling. And then after a while, like, as I continued to write, I kind of felt more confident. Like when you first start, all type of insecurity just, comes at you. But once you get used to it and once you start noticing that people are not noticing the fact that you're writing it down, you kind of start feeling a little bit more comfortable. And so I started feeling a little bit more comfortable. And when I started feeling a little bit more comfortable, I just kept writing and writing. This time, I got off the middle page and I started writing the first page. And I even got a whole notebook, but it's the same like what's it called, the notebook that we use for school. I use that. I don't try to buy one of those fancy ones and stuff. I wasn't that dedicated, but I would use that. And I mean, I would start on the first page this time and then write it down and stuff. And after a while, probably after 2 years, like on and off writing and then not writing, I got tired of writing because I got more used to typing, and I like typing better than writing because writing down my thoughts, it takes a lot of patience, honestly, because I could not for the life of me sit down and try to write down my thoughts because like what's going on in my head, it just flows. Like when I'm writing, it flows. In my hand, it cannot keep up with my thoughts. And so because of that, I was like, I probably need to switch over to online. At that time, the first insecurity that I had when I first started, came right again, because this is like taking another step into online, and online is a little bit more dangerous because people can access it. There's that risk. And so I did that. I went online, and basically what I did is I just searched up online journal, and like there's plenty. I clicked on it. I was like, oh, I like this thing, but I went on ahead and try to see like how people liked it and stuff, and they liked it, and they said it was pretty secure. So yeah, I mean that's about it. Yeah, I mean I started journaling because I was feeling emotional. I was feeling emotional, and also like I'm not the type of person to really go up to a person and didn't have to get that, but
this is going on
I
in
just
my
wanted
life.
something I didn't have
I need
to work
help.
too hard for. So
It's gonna be,
I went
my
like
head.
I actually
I'm
knew
gonna
this
try to
journey,
solve it
but
myself. I don't
I
go to
went
people
on
at all
an
because
online journal, and then
I'm self-sufficient like that.
but also that's just how I function. I don't trust people like that. I don't feel comfortable telling people whatever's in my head. There's some things I am comfortable telling people, and then there's some things that I'm not comfortable telling people. And so yeah, basically that's how I started. But in the next video, make sure you tune in for the next video as well. But in the next video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons and how I actually like did it, what I wrote in my journal. I'm not going to be showing you like what I wrote down. Obviously, that's like why. I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of journaling, and then I'm going to be talking about what I wrote down and stuff, and just like my final thoughts, like would I recommend journaling at all. And so thank you so much for tuning in. ውድ ንቦቼ ፍቅሮቼ ሰላሞቼ አመሰግናለሁ እስካሁን ስላዳመጣችሁኝ። በኔክስት ቪዲዮም ደግሞ ፓርት 2 አለ የዚህ ቪዲዮ። ወደዛ እስከዛ ድረስ I don't know what I'm saying. You see like how I'm struggling to speak Amharic right now. ለማንኛውም ግን ይሄኛው ቪዲዮ subscribe, like እንድታደርጉልኝ, subscribe and like. I'm trying to like switch over to English, but it's not working. I'm not doing it fast enough. But anywho, just make sure you subscribe and like this video. And I really want to thank you so much for like staying and like listening to this. And make sure you tune in for the next video because there's gonna be a part 2. And nale ወንድሞቼ nale tochi. ምንድነው ላይክ እና ሰብስክራይብ አድርጉ። ፓርት 2 አለ የዚህ ቪዲዮ እና እስካሁን ደግሞ ስላዳመጣችሁ በጣም አድርጌ ነው የማመሰግናችሁ። በጣም ነው የምወዳችሁና እስከዛ ድረስ ሰላም ዋሉ።